I was born in a small village in East Africa, where life revolved around the land. My parents were farmers, working tirelessly to grow enough food to feed our family. But when I was 12, a devastating drought swept through the region. The crops withered, the rivers dried up, and the livestock died. My father, desperate to provide for us, left for the city to find work. He promised to return with money and supplies, but weeks turned into months, and we never heard from him again. My mother tried to hold things together, but the strain was too much. She fell ill, and with no money for medicine, she passed away within months. At 14, I was alone. I wandered from village to village, begging for food and shelter. Some nights, I slept under trees or in abandoned huts. Other nights, I curled up in the dirt, too exhausted to care. I stole when I had to, fruit from market stalls, bread from bakeries. I was caught once, beaten by a mob, and left bleeding in the street. I thought I would die out there, forgotten and nameless. But one rainy night, as I lay shivering under a bridge, a man found me. The man was a pastor. He was tall and broad-shouldered, with a voice that carried authority and kindness. He knelt beside me, his umbrella shielding me from the rain. "What's your name, son?" he asked. I couldn't speak. My throat was raw from hunger and cold. He wrapped me in his coat and carried me to his car. At his home, his wife bathed me, fed me, and gave me clean clothes. For the first time in years, I felt safe. The pastor told me about his ministry, a small but growing church in the city. "God has a plan for you," he said. "You're not alone anymore." For years, I served under the pastor's guidance. I was hands-on in the ministry, helping with everything from feeding the poor to visiting the sick. Sometimes he'd even let me preach on Sundays. I felt like I was making a real difference. As I grew older, he began to teach me about the deeper aspects of faith. He spoke of sacrifice and spiritual power. He took me to secluded prayer meetings where people chanted in languages I didn't understand. I thought this was the depth of faith, the secret to true spiritual power. The pastor and his wife often called me their only son. Even at church, it was well known that I was like a son to them. But there were moments that unsettled me. Once, during a prayer meeting, I saw a man collapse, writhing on the floor. The pastor anointed him with oil, and the man stood up, healed. "Some gifts come with a price," the pastor told me later. On his last Sunday, the pastor handed me a map. "Go to this location," he said. "Your spiritual father will guide you." I drove for hours, following the map to a massive house in the middle of nowhere. The air felt heavy, like a storm was brewing. A giant man answered the door. He was at least 7 feet tall, with piercing eyes and a voice that rumbled like thunder. "Come in," he said. Inside, the house was dimly lit, filled with strange symbols and artifacts. The man prayed over me, his hands pressing into my shoulders. I felt a surge of energy, then darkness. When I woke up, I was back at the church. My body ached, and something felt wrong. I looked down and saw that my penis and testicles were gone. I couldn't speak. My voice was gone, as if the scream had torn it from my throat. The pastor found me, tears streaming down his face. He pulled down his pants, revealing that he too had no male genitals. "I was once chosen just like you," he said. "Now it's your time. Don't cry, my son. This is a blessing. You've been set apart for greatness." A few months later, he passed away. We said it was a peaceful death, that he was taken to heaven. But I think not. His wife left me alone in this, with no answers, no guidance. For 15 years, I've led this church. I can heal the sick, curse our enemies, and perform wonders. All the powers are there at my fingertips. The ministry is massive, with thousands of followers hanging on my every word. But inside, I'm broken. I married a kind woman who understands my struggles. We adopted 2 children, but it's not the same. I'll never have a biological family. The visions haunt me. I see the faces of those I've healed, but I also see the ones I couldn't save. The weight of their pain is crushing. I often wonder, who am I serving? Is it God, or is it something darker? I don't read the Bible, but I can quote it with ease. Something greater than me is within, and it terrifies me. I don't know what exactly this is, but it drives me to do things I don't understand. I've tried to leave, but the church is my prison. If I step down, the miracles stop. The people I've helped will suffer. To anyone who's listening, beware of those who promise power at a price. Beware of those who hide behind masks of righteousness. True faith doesn't demand sacrifice. It offers freedom. Don't let anyone take that away from you. I wish someone had warned me. I wish someone had told me that the price of power is too high to pay. But no one did. And now, I'm trapped in this life, forced to maintain a facade of piety and devotion. But the truth is, I'm dying inside. The weight of my secrets is crushing me, and I don't know how much longer I can keep up the charade. I'm a prisoner of my own making, and I don't know how to escape. All I can do is warn others, in the hopes that they won't make the same mistakes I did. Don't be seduced by promises of power and glory. Don't be fooled by those who claim to have the answers. The truth is, we're all just stumbling through the dark, trying to find our way. And the only way to truly find our way is to be honest with ourselves, and to seek the truth no matter how difficult it may be.